So Damon Arnette got drafted in the first round, and I think a lot of people didn't like the pick. Some people did really like the pick. I liked the fit at the beginning, and so I wanted to make a video about it, just sort of talk about what he does well, what he doesn't do well, and sort of how he's playing a few games in, and why the Raiders drafted him in the first place. I think a big reason why Las Vegas drafted him was just because he's a great run stopper, great tackler, which is, I think, something that they value. Clearly, certain teams value certain things. I think they value a guy who can run in and he can, play to run very well. He can make tackles. This is an example of that. It's going to be a screen pass to the bottom of the screen, and I have Arnette circled in black right there. So really, I want you to just take a look at, a receiver's going to go out to block him, but watch how Arnette is just going to run over and he's just going to drive him back. Arnette then gets off and is able to make the tackle. And that's just the kind of thing where, he's someone who can get into the play and make those tackles. There are plenty of corners who they make business decisions. Well, for Arnette, his business decision is making the tackle, because that's partially why he's probably going to, get paid in 4 years or whatever, because that is something that, he brings to the Raiders, is his run stopping ability and his, screen pass tackling ability. This one's another example where this time it is going to be a run. It's going to be a pitch to the bottom of the screen. And so they're going to have a couple players, move out to block certain Raiders players, Arnette being the furthermost one. So there's actually going to be an offensive lineman who's going to swing over, and he's going to be the guy in charge of blocking Arnette. So, you think this is advantage Carolina. Offensive lineman going up against cornerback. That's about as good of an advantage as you can get in the blocking game. And so once this play starts, you notice that the offensive lineman, getting in position to block Arnette. Arnette went a little bit over to the outside as he thought that's where the play was going. McCaffrey cuts a little bit further in. So now, basically, the offensive lineman is in really good position to try and make a play. I mean, this doesn't seem like a very difficult block for him to make. But what's going to be really unique about this play is that you're going to see what Arnette does. And Arnette, he sees where the block is coming, so he's just going to move a little bit over to where he's able to make a very quick tackle. I think it's also maybe fair to criticize McCaffrey a little bit. You can't criticize him very often. He could have slowed down a little bit, let his blocker have a little more time. But either way, great play by Arnette to sort of, be like a matador, make a move, and be able to make that play. So, I want to give Arnette some credit. That's probably my favorite thing about him, quite frankly, is the way he can make those types of plays. Here, in fact, I'll show one more before I get into the coverage, which is obviously what people want to see because he is a corner. This one, really, the guy who's going to be blocking Arnette on this one is, again, it's an offensive lineman. It's a tackle moving up to the top of the screen. And once this play starts, you notice that, again, this isn't bad positioning whatsoever. He is in good position. Arnette's a little bit closer to the outside, so if you're an offensive lineman, you're probably thinking, okay, get a little bit closer to the outside, to the sideline. This just seems logical. But, the one thing I did say, it's a big advantage for a lineman to be going up against a corner, but I guess the one difference is that for a corner, you have much better footwork, obviously, because you're a lot smaller, less weight to move around. And so Arnette, he's going to simply just say, hey, if I'm smaller, I have better footwork, I'm going to use this to my advantage. He makes a quick move to the inside and is then able to make a quick tackle. That's kind of a risk because if it doesn't work out, who knows, maybe he isn't able to, make that tackle, and maybe there's a lot more yardage that's gained as if he, as opposed to if he just stayed in one spot. But at the end of the day, I like that move, and it's a really good play, and it kind of shows what he can do in these types of plays. Well, let's get into his coverage now, because to be honest, I do have a big nitpick in his coverage ability, something that I think is, actually I don't think it's a nitpick, I think it's just a straight up flaw that he needs to work on, quite frankly. This will be a great example of it. It's going to be zone coverage. It's cover 3. This is what the Raiders do a lot. They're going to put him in a corner, cover 3 zone. This is what they want him to be good at. And because they run this play, it is a coverage that requires corners to sometimes make tackles, which makes sense. That's probably why they went out and drafted him. But anyways, one thing you're going to notice is that there is going to be a receiver who's running a route where he's going to cut in. It's relatively deep. So, once this play starts, it's play action as well. So not much linebacker help in front of him. And you notice Arnette, he already has turned his back. He's making sure he does not get beat deep here. That's what he's trying to do. but he doesn't need to be doing it this dramatically. He just doesn't, because quite frankly, he has help deep. He also has some help shallow, so I kind of get it, but he's not in perfect position, and he is kind of turning back. So when that Carolina Panther does stop, you notice how open he gets, and Arnette, a little lucky that the ball didn't go in that direction. While there was some help in front, it was far enough down the field that that's a throw that can be made. It just wasn't. That's my biggest flaw with him, is I feel like he sometimes makes his decisions too quickly. That's it's a real problem. This is a great example. You know, this was the worst of plays where it's man coverage and the receiver he's going up against is running a route where he fakes it though he's running just a quick route to the sideline, but then he's going to run deep, and this is going to really fool Arnette. Where watch once this play starts, you notice how Arnette is moving in. Arnette is ready to take away this play, and he's a little bit out of position right now, so he's really trying to hurry to make sure he gets in position, which I understand. But the problem is just going to be that the player he's in charge of covering runs deep. He's just completely beating Arnette. Arnette tries to hold him and fails to do so, and then the safety misses it, which results in a touchdown. Just not a great play from Arnette. And again, it's not a bad athletic play. The athletic part has nothing to do with it. It was just simply he made his decision too quickly, and it came back to bite him. And it's something he needs to do a better job at doing, and he's going to have to learn that in a hurry. And, you know, listen, it's not a big deal. A lot of corners do struggle with things early on in their career and sort of have to learn the ropes quickly. And so hopefully for him, he can sort of learn to make the correct decision, not the first decision you see. And so we'll see how he does that in the next upcoming weeks. I'll show one good play, though. This one, it's going to be cover 2 zone, and you see Arnette's circle. It's the one in white. And so the way this is going to work is that you have really, I mean, it's kind of a zone buster where you have a tight end running out shallow underneath Arnette's route, and you have a receiver who's going to run deep, kind of in a gap in coverage past Arnette's route, but before the safety. Excuse me, not Arnette's route, Arnette's zone, but before the safety. And so that's the way this play works. Basically, Arnette can't cover to them both, so he covers one. You throw to the open guy. Either you throw it underneath and pick up some yards, or you throw it deep and hopefully pick up the first down if you're Carolina. And once this play starts, you notice that that player is getting into a gap in coverage, but Arnette doing a very good job of staying really where you want to be. You know, if this is going to be a run, if this is going to be a pass underneath, Arnette can still run over and make a quick tackle. You gain a couple yards, whatever, who cares? But he's also in position where he can try to take away that deeper route as well. And he knows that he doesn't have to go too far deep because he does have safety help. And so when this throw goes in that direction, Arnette is able to leap up, make the play, knock the ball away. Just a good play from Arnette. So, you know, he does have his moments in coverage. He's not a bad coverage player. I think he has areas to improve, and that's an okay thing. Not every rookie defensive back is going to be perfect. I think he definitely, you know, he has to work on not making decisions so quickly. He just does, and I'm sure the Raiders coaching staff sees that as well, and they're going to do their best to make sure that happens. But at the same time, he's you know, when the value that he does bring, if he can just sort of work out the kinks, he can be a very good player. You definitely see those flashes. He just has to learn to be a bit more consistent, and I think he will. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts of Damon Arnette? I always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.